Hey YouTube, it's Missing No here for another Transformers review. This time, Transformers Masterpiece Thundercracker. So this is the US Toys R Us release. There have been, I believe, 3 releases of Masterpiece Thundercracker. The first one was the Takara, which was the original version of this mold. I'll talk more about the differences between the first and the second version later. Then there was this release, US release, and it had, the first car one was a very realistic paint job, I believe. And then this one was a little more cartoon accurate. It had some extra details. And then Takara, and this is the second version of the mold. And then Takara released another, had another release of Thundercracker, which is the second version of the mold, and it has a similar paint job to this one, but I believe the color overall is a little bit lighter, and that's a little bit more cartoon accurate, I believe, but I'd have to check that to be sure. I'll talk more about the differences later. So, first of all, I'm just gonna give you a quick shot of the box. See, Masterpiece Thundercracker, Transformers, display stand included, picture of Thundercracker, Decepticon sign. Let's see the stats. And as you pan up, you can see it includes display stand, swing open nose cone, adjustable thrust vector, opening canopy, hidden missile pods, 2 different heads. That's actually inaccurate with this version of the mold. I'll get into that a little bit more. I think they were, when this figure was coming out, the second version of the Seeker mold, the Masterpiece Seeker mold, was just kind of becoming a thing with the Takara Starscream. So I think they kind of screwed up there with this release, because, like, the instructions on this figure, be kind of careful, because they're for the other version of the mold, and there are a couple small transformational differences. Well, actually kind of big. So I think they kind of hadn't decided what they were using, which is a little bit strange. But so now to get into the figure. So taking a closer look at him, you can see a lot of nice detail. It's a very realistic F-15. See the cockpit there. Decepticon symbols. Back here, you can see the thrusters. It does have a pretty sleek underside. Obviously, you can see a couple little things in there, but honestly, I think this is pretty good. Pretty much as good as they could get it. See the landing gear? They do fold up in this one. Little flip open panel there. So it's got a lot of different features in the vehicle mode. It's got this flip open panel. This is an air brake. So if anybody is wondering what that is, I think I've heard a couple people say they weren't sure what that was. The flaps actually do move. I thought that was a pretty cool feature. So do the thrusters a little bit. So you can see some more detail in there. Like reflector printed on there. That's pretty cool. So sonic boom right there. And it shows one of the Seekers holding Soundwave. He also comes with a couple other accessories, like the display stand, which can be used in either mode. Under here, you can pull this out. It's pretty tight in there. There we go. You can pull this piece out. This is just some clear little holder, and you just slide this on, and this is how you can display them in jet mode. you can, this little piece right here, can clip onto this little plug, kind of get it on there. It's a little bit tricky to get them on there, but you can, it's not too hard. And then also, I'll show it later in robot mode, but you slide it on like this for the robot mode display stand. He also comes with, I just have them in a little Ziploc baggie so I don't lose them. Comes with these 2 missiles and also this little guy, and I think they did change this mold, so it's just a pilot now, but he's all chrome. Kind of looks like a holographic pilot, and he can sit in there. Nope, dropped him. But he can open the cockpit. I think I forgot to say that, but you can just sit him in there and close it. It's a nice feature. It's a nice little touch. So this little clip is so that so that if you have Optimus Prime and the Megatron kind of gun, you can clip it on here, and there's a little, you can plug on the bottom of the nose cone. And he can also hold the Megatron gun that Prime comes with, or that comes with Prime. These 2 missiles, that, now here's getting into some of the changes. This is the 2nd version of the Masterpiece Seeker mold. And now the first change that I'm going to point out, which has to do with these null rays are attached here. And they're just by ball joints, so you can pop them off, but they don't come off during transformation. Unless you pop them off, they don't just normally come off. In the first version, they would just plug into the wings, and you'd take them off and plug them into the arms. So that's the first change. But it also means that it's kind of hard to get these put on the bottom of the wings because the null rays are there, and there's not really anywhere to put them. So they actually stopped including missiles on the newer versions of the Seeker mold. And that's further evidence of why I think they probably weren't sure whether they were excuse me, going to make this guy the new mold or the old one. So, but still they include them, so if you'd like to use them somehow, you can, you have them, you get them. So that's pretty much it for this mode. So I'm not going to show the transformation. This is just a big figure. I don't really, it can be kind of difficult working around the camera. It's not too hard a transformation, but it is pretty advanced. So if you need help with the transformation, there are lots of reviews of this figure, or like the newer Takara Starscream and the Thundercracker and Skywarp. Those all are the exact same mold. So if you can find a review of those, I'm sure there'd be another one. So, I'll get on to transformation. You know what? I just remembered, actually. There's also one other little detail, which is used in transformation, but also just a cool feature in the vehicle mode. You can bring these pieces up. It can be a little hard to get to them, but there we go. The greatest of ease. And you can see there is some engine detail in there. The panels just flip up. So, nothing too complicated, but let's just clip shut. Okay, I'll transform off camera and then I'll come back in robot mode. So here he is in robot mode. So, I'll start off with the accessories. First of all, the stand. You can put him on it. There's a tab right in there, which You can just plug them on. The missiles still don't really have anywhere to go, though you can clip them on the wings, I think, if you'd like. On his back there. The pilot and the whoa, dropped a missile. And the clip don't really serve a purpose in this form, in this mode. So I'll mainly just focus on the figure. First of all, I just wanted to show off his size in robot mode. It stands about 8.5 inches at the head, and like 9 at the wing tips. And in vehicle mode, he's over a foot. I think just by a tiny bit. So here he is in robot mode. So real nice detail everywhere. Let's see. One cool feature, these flip up on both sides and reveal these little missiles that the couple of the Seekers used in a couple episodes, I think. But, I mean, that's sort of the cool details that you'd expect from Masterpiece figures. They really just kind of go all the way and have every little detail. So, as you can see, a really nice detailed figure. Looks really nice in the back. Not a lot of extra parts or anything. Little fins hanging off. Be kind of careful of these little tips. I've heard a couple people say that if you, I mean, they're pretty thin, so if you bang them on something, they could break. But so there he is. For posability, the arms will go up and down, in and out, with a nice ratchet, forward and back, and then in and out. Double jointed elbow, swivel. The fingers, the 3 of these are jointed on a ball joint and hinged at the knuckle, kind of. And then there's also the pointer with the same and ball jointed thumb. The null rays are on ball joints. The wings don't move a ton, but you can kind of hinge them back a little bit and get them out of the way. The legs go in and out at these joints. They can move forward, but not a ton, because once you get a couple clicks, they kind of run into these pieces, which can go up, but there's just not a ton of clearance in there for a lot of movement. The knees bend nicely, double jointed. You can see the 2 hinges there. Feet move a little bit. It's kind of awkward handling a figure that's kind of big around a camera, if anyone's curious why I'm not really moving everything. Why I'm not like actually showing it, just saying what it can do, because, and the head is on a ball joint, so you can look up and down and left to right, and you can wiggle side to side a little bit. But so if anyone's curious why I'm more just showing it off and or not really showing it and more just saying what it can do, that's why, because it's a pretty big figure. Just to wrap it up, I wanted to say a couple differences between this second version of the Seeker mold and the original. First of all, these pieces used to kind of just hang off the hips, and now they are attached down here. There were a couple other pieces that would kind of rest up here, that would kind of fill out the part of the jet mode on the under kind of the sides of these pieces. The null rays are now attached, and the head. It used to have 2 faces. You could flip this back and change the faces. That was taken out so that the head would be a little more G1 accurate, and it's a little bit bigger, I think, a little bit wider, and that's why they've had these little pieces added that spring in and out. I don't know if you can see that, but these pieces will spring in and out to give it clearance during transformation. So, a really nice figure. Do I recommend it? Definitely. If you have the money and can get this figure, I definitely recommend it. One thing to debate though, the original Takara version can be quite expensive. Like I think I saw one sell recently for like 350 open box. So it wasn't even used. It was used. It wasn't even new. This guy goes for over 100 easily. But he's no longer made. There's the new Takara one, but since it's an imported figure, if you live in the US, it'll probably run you around 150. So you just have to ask yourself which version you like, which version you can afford. If you can't afford this version, if you can't afford the Masterpiece Thundercracker, I definitely recommend the looking into the Generations Deluxe Thundercracker. It's a really nice figure as well. If you'd like a good representation of G1 Thundercracker that maybe doesn't run you quite so much. But if you have the means, I would definitely recommend picking this guy up. So, definitely a nice figure. As I said, if you have the means, I'd highly recommend picking one up. It is so choice. So, hopefully someone got that reference. But, it's a really nice figure, and I definitely recommend it. So thanks for tuning in and watching. See you next time.